We've all seen those YouTube channels that seem to blow up out of nowhere. They're getting views and subscribers, and it can be so frustrating when you might feel stuck. You're creating content regularly, but you're just not growing. And you've probably gotten advice like have better thumbnails or make a better title, which is great advice. But if you don't have that foundation in place first, that advice isn't going to help. So in this series, this 2-part series, we're going to be breaking down what I call the clarity equation. Now, this series is brought to you by the Think Masterclass, and I'll tell you more about that later. But if you're new here, welcome. My name is Heather Torres, and I am your host of the Think Marketing Podcast. And if you're new, we release a brand new episode every single Tuesday. So I want to encourage you to subscribe wherever you're listening to this content on. Now, we are heading into a 2-part series that's all about the clarity equation. This is going to help you learn how do you actually get clear on the type of content you're creating on YouTube, but even more than that, how do you get clear on where you want to go on YouTube? Now, I gave this keynote that we're going to be breaking down into 2 parts at an event where I was speaking to a room full of creative entrepreneurs, just like you. And in this session, I really dive into the clarity pieces of YouTube. In part 1 here, you're going to be learning the 3 main objections that rise up when you're getting started, how to go deeper into finding your reasons for doing what you're doing, and figuring out who you want to help and how you want to help them. And then we're going to dive deeper into part 2 on next week's episode. So let's dive into that talk right now.
Anyone remember algebra? Back in school, you remember algebra? Not my favorite subject, but we're going to go with it today. So I call this my clarity equation. We're going to solve this today, together. We're going to solve this together today. O plus R plus W plus G plus C, all multiplied by A equals P. Now let's go ahead and get started with O. O. We need to overcome our objections to video. We need to overcome them. And there's 3 major objections when we have clients that come to us. These are our 3. I don't have enough time. I definitely don't have enough money to go on this adventure. And I have no clue how to use a DSLR camera or have any idea what f-stop and frame rates and all these things that these photographers throw around. I have no clue what those things are. I am not skilled at this. Well, here's the thing. If you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. If you do not mark your time, someone else is going to take it. And so you need to be the one that's marking out what are you doing. So raise your hand if you have kids. Raise your hand if you have kids, nice and high. Okay, leave them up. Raise your hands if you also have a job. Raise your hand if you have a job. You don't have to have kids and a job, you can have one or the other. Raise your hand if you have a hobby. Raise your hand if you have ministry, things that you do. Okay, look, everyone, look around. Everyone, every single person in here has the same amount of time. We all have 24 hours. And I like to look at Chip and Joanna Gaines. I mean, anyone love Chip and Joanna Gaines? I'm obsessed with all of their stuff at Target right now. It's so cute, right? Chip and Joanna Gaines have the same 24 hours. They also have 4 kids. They run multiple businesses. They have TV shows. They help out charitable organizations. They're writing books. You know how they do it all? Because they prioritize their time. You need to stop managing your time and actually manage your focus, because we all have the same 24 hours. So it's about managing your focus. Now, here are 3 ways that I learned as a young entrepreneur, as I started having kids and we started moving around the country and really just trying to figure out, like, how do I grow this business? How do I do all the things? Because I want to be a great mom and I want to be a great wife and I want to be able to grow a business. I know it's possible. The first thing I had to learn how to do was block my calendar. I had to own my calendar. This is so shocking to me. When we have clients come to us and I start going through a clarity workshop with them, I am shocked how many people do not plan their calendar. Now, yes, you probably plan like your work day, right? You're like, oh, I got a meeting at 9 and I'm gonna go to lunch with Joe at 12 and you have those things. But like, what are you doing with the rest of your time? How many shows are we binge watching? How many times are we scrolling through on the internet? That is the time that you need to be blocking. So you need to actually have real solid blocks of time from when you wake up in the morning until you lay your head down on that pillow. Every minute should be blocked because we're only here for a short amount of time. And I know that you have something that you need to give to people, and you can't do that if you're on Instagram. You cannot do that if you are scrolling Facebook or you're binge watching that next show. It is important that you use the minutes that you have right now to help the people that you want to serve. The second thing you need to do, and this, ladies, tell me if this is hard. It seems so hard for ladies, right? You have to say no. This is a hard one, right? Because your girlfriend's like, hey, you want to go for drinks? And you're like, I really do kind of want to, but I gotta make that next blog post. Or, hey, my son's gonna have another birthday party. What, again? Yeah, it was last year and it's coming around again. Like that happens all the time. This is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Everything that you say yes to, you are saying no to your dream. Every time that you say yes to someone else's agenda, you are saying no to what you know is right here. You know it, it's right there, and you're saying no to your dream. So I challenge you this week, before you say yes to something, pause. Say, what am I saying no to? And the last thing is, you need to really prioritize what matters. So I'm gonna take just a second right now, and I want you to think, what matters? I have 4 main buckets that I operate off of. 1, my family. If it does not fit into the bucket of my family, I say no. The second, my business. If it is not going to move my business forward, yes, it might be nice, but is it going to move my business forward? I say no. The third bucket I have is my community. I love to serve in my community. So if it doesn't fit into that bucket, I say no. And lastly is our customers. If it is not helping me with my customers, like if it's not helping in some way, if I'm not able to give an hour of time here or help someone put a conference together or something like that, I say no. All right, so we've tackled time. Now we're gonna tackle money. Tackling money. When you think about getting into video, usually what pops into your head is, what camera do I buy? Well, you can go to YouTube right now and Google that. Sean's video will come up and we'd love to explain that to you. But here's the thing. This is what we normally think about when we think about getting into video, right? You need the camera, you need the lights, you need the backdrop, you need all the things, right? You need all the things. But, I want to do something real quick. Do you have a smartphone? If you have a smartphone, can you pull out your smartphone real quick? If you have a smartphone with you, just grab it. Just grab it. Hold it up really high, I want to see. This is not an Android versus iPhone, okay? It's okay, a smartphone of some kind. Awesome. All of you right there that just held that up, you hold the power to video in the palm of your hand. Congratulations, give yourself a round of applause. Really, that's all you need. All you need right there is your smartphone. We've already established this. Video is free. It's free. So let's get rid of the excuse that it's about the money, because it's not. It's about our idea of thinking we need to have the perfect video, not the video that's just giving content to the customers that need it. And the last thing is the skill. Raise your hand if this is your objection to getting into video, the skill. That's it, everyone else is doing video? Amazing, I love that. Remember, raise your hands nice and high. There we go. All right, so the skill. So I want to tell you a little story. 4 years ago, I actually never had a video online. 4 years ago, I was not the person in front of the camera. I was not the person standing on stage and speaking. That was just not me. But I knew that I needed to get into video. And so I decided to open up a Snapchat account. You know what Snapchat is? Raise your hand if you know what the platform Snapchat is. Okay, Snapchat is like Instagram's little sister who just couldn't figure out how to get going. So Snapchat's really not where people are, but this is a good thing. This is a good thing. What I did is I opened up a Snapchat account, and here's the reason why. Because no one's on Snapchat. Really, that's why I did it. No one's on Snapchat. So I opened up this Snapchat account, and I decided that I was gonna make a story. A story is a series of 15-second videos I was gonna make a story every day. I was gonna do 5 stories every day, and I was gonna tell a story through those 5 videos that I was posting. And so I did this, and I did it for 30 days. Then I decided to do it for another 30 days, and another 30 days. And here's why. Because when you first start out on video, your voice kind of sounds funny, right? Like when you first start out, you're like, that's what I sound like? What? I'm not high pitch. Apparently I am, right? The second thing is like, you're holding it, and you're like, is that what I look like on film? So the point of doing the Snapchat challenge was that I just needed to get comfortable talking to the camera. I just needed to get comfortable telling a story. I needed to get comfortable being on that side of the lens. I was always a person on the other side, and so to put my face out there, my voice out there, and all of my flaws out there, that's why I did the Snapchat challenge. And you know what? I'm so grateful that I did, because of that challenge and connecting with Sean and building this business that we have, I was able to now teach on film. And this is an amazing opportunity that we had to live teach to thousands of people, and our internet went down. Yeah, anyone have that happen? Yes. So we luckily went over to a friend's house and used his internet, and I am standing on a box. You'll see this, I'm in my socks standing on a box, because Sean is 6'3" and I'm 5'5". So the camera didn't know who to focus on, so I got to stand on a box. That was fun. And you know what? I'm so grateful that I did that Snapchat challenge, because then I was able to speak on stages. And I'm so grateful that I did that Snapchat challenge, because now I go live on Instagram, I'll go live on YouTube. The people on the other side of the lens, they're just my friends now. I'm not scared of them anymore. And I'm so grateful that I did the Snapchat challenge, because now we've built a community of entrepreneurs, thousands of entrepreneurs, and we're able to live teach to them every single month inside of our Inner Circle program. And I'm so grateful for doing the Snapchat challenge, because now I interview entrepreneurs, just like Catherine of Stonecoat. And I'm just so grateful that I took that step and put myself out there and started to do video. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't let fear hold you back. Now, yes, we can say it's time. Yes, we can say that it's money or that it's skill. But here's what it really is. Like, if we get honest with ourselves, what it really is we're afraid of failing. And we're afraid of judgment. And that little girl inside in 6th grade that used to get teased, she's still in there. But you know what? If fear is what we're gonna let hold us back, we won't ever make progress. And I wanna speak to, real quick, all the women in this room right now. All the women in this room right now. It is a privilege. It is a privilege for us to be able to speak on camera. And let me tell you why. Because there were trailblazers before us. And we need to be the trailblazers for the generations of girls behind us that need to see that our voices matter. That the craft that we know that we have, it matters. And that we have something to bring to the world that's beyond just being inside the home. That we have something that they can follow in the footsteps of. If they don't see it, they won't know that they can do it too. So don't let fear hold you back. Don't let judgment of what you think it's gonna be like hold you back. I mean, let me just be honest. For like 4 days, this is crazy, I'm telling you this. For like 4 days, I worried about what I was gonna wear today. You know, like 4 days out of my life, I was like, should I wear heels? Should I wear a skirt? Should I look fancy? Should I wear a blazer? You know, I went like, ladies, come on, right? Yes, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I could have done with that time? I could have figured out what read aloud I wanted to read to my kids. I could have decided what next course I wanted to create for entrepreneurs just like you. I could have been sleeping. But instead, for 4 days, I worried about being judged. I worried about what were you gonna think that I was thinking that you were thinking about what I was looking like here on stage. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. What matters is the message. And so I just challenge you to just get rid of those insecurities. Can we just let those go? Can we just decide right now in this room that we're gonna step out, that we're not gonna let fear hold us back any longer, that we are here to make a difference, that we have something inside of us that is for people? Are we gonna make that commitment? Yes. All right, so we've solved the O in our equation. We're gonna get right to the R of the equation. Kaylee, are you taking notes? Because this is school. Okay, good, just wanna make sure. Okay, so R is your reasons. And I love that Mike started with this today too, because really at the core of any business, it's the reasons why we're doing it. The core of every business is actually us knowing that we were struggling with something and that now we know that other people struggle with it and that we need to help them. That's really what it boils down to. So what's your why? What is your why for being in business? What is your why for creating what you create? What's the why? Here's my why. These 4 humans are the reason that I get up every morning and run a business. These 4 humans right here are my thing that gets me through the hard days. These 4 humans are the reason that I want to help entrepreneurs. I want my boys and I want my daughter to know that their mama knew in her heart that she was supposed to help people and that she did it. That's what I do. That's my reason why. Thank you. I'm not going to cry. So reasons come before results. Have you realized that? The reason that you're staying up late, the reason you're getting up early, the reasons that you're not going on that summer vacation this year, the reason that you've decided to step out and start a business, the reasons have got to come before results. Because there will be days that will be hard. There will be challenges in your life that are going to come up against you. And if you don't have those reasons drilled in, if they're not like deep in there, you're going to quit. That's what's going to happen. You're going to quit. And so the reasons have to come before results. So I want to take just a minute and I want you to label your 4 reasons you are in business. What are your 4 reasons that you are in business? So W, we need to define our who. Who's this for? Who are we creating for? Now, in any business, it's really important to define kind of who you're doing business for. But in online business, to break through the noise with video, you gotta be super specific on who that is. And when I mean super specific, I mean that you can imagine a person in your mind. You know what they look like, you know where they live, you know their socioeconomic status, their family status, their income level, their skill level. You know the person. It's got to be a who in order to break through with video. So who is your person? Now here's the thing. If you try and reach everyone, you'll end up reaching no one. If you go out there and start making video and you try and reach everyone on the internet, we hear this all the time when we get clients, I want to reach everyone. Okay, if you try and reach everyone, you're not going to reach anyone. So I want you to define your avatar. Avatar is just another great way of saying your person. Rachel Hollis calls it her. You want to define your person. So here's our people. This is our person. This is a group of people at our Business and Marketing Mastermind that we host every year in Las Vegas. And this is our her. This is our him. I say her and him because, well, there's Sean and Heather, and we both kind of, go to different types of people attracted to us for different reasons. But these are our people. This is our tribe. These are our people. And here's who they are. Here's my her. She's a smart entrepreneur. She's smart. She's not dabbling. She's ready to dominate. She just needs a guide. She needs a friend who's a little bit further ahead of her than she is in business. And she wants to know all the mistakes not to make. And she's a hustler. meaning she's a person who's a go-getter. And she's not really after the money of it. It's not about really the lights and the fame and that kind of thing. It's about impact. It's about impacting the world. She understands that investing in her future is smart, and she's purpose-driven. Her business has a purpose behind it. It's not just a business out there to make money. It is there to serve people. So can you picture that person in your mind right now? Do you know who you're making the craft for? Do you know who your best customer is that you're like, if I only had that customer every time, that'd be amazing? That person, that's your her. So on social media, you need to define this. This is really important. This goes on your Instagram profile. This goes on your Facebook profile. This goes on your LinkedIn profile. This declares who you help and how you help them. So here's a very simple sentence. This is what we call our elevator pitch. I help blank do blank. I help fill in the person you serve. Entrepreneurs. Do what? Grow their business with video. Very simple sentence. Now, I don't mean to offend any business owners in here, but people actually don't care about your business. I know that's really hard to sometimes take because it's our baby, right? I've had it for this long and it's super important to me, but they actually don't care about your business. They care about how can you help me? That's what they care about. So here's some examples for you. This is Alexis. She's one of our members of our Inner Circle program, our program that we have at Think Media, and she is a tiny home builder. And so she helps tiny home enthusiasts achieve their goals of creating a more fulfilling lifestyle and home. That's her profile. So if you go to Alexis's Instagram page, you click on it and you'll be like, oh wow, Alexis helps tiny home enthusiasts. And this can go across any niche. This can be any business. This is Diego. He's a music teacher in Miami, and he helps kids specifically. See that? Kids. That's different than helping an adult. And he helps them learn how to play current songs, not old-fashioned songs, current songs with piano and guitar. And then there's my friend Nicole, and she's a pediatric occupational therapist, and she helps moms, very specific moms, enhance their child's development through education and fun learning activities. So here's your sentence. I help blank do blank. I help fill in the blank, do, you can change that around, do, grow, build, you can move that word around, but that's the gist of your sentence. So you're gonna take just a second and fill it in. I help blank, do blank.
Well, that was part 1 of this series where we dove into overcoming objections, figuring out your reasons, and knowing who your who is. And I have a couple questions for you. What objections are getting you stuck? Is it time? Is it money? Is it skill? Have you identified that objection? Because I want to help you identify it so we can grow past it. I know that for me, it was definitely the skill. I sometimes feel paralyzed with cameras and microphones and lighting, and I mess it up all the time. And so for me, my biggest hurdle in waiting 3 years longer than I should have was actually understanding that this skill can be taught, that I can learn about cameras and microphones and lighting and how to sound good on camera or look decent on camera. This is a skill that I needed to overcome. So I want to ask you, what was your main objection? Was it time? Was it money? Or was it skill? Then we learned about your reasons. And after the year we've had of 2020, knowing your reasons why you're doing this, I think is even more important. You know, for me, it is the 3 kiddos that I have and my husband. My reason is because I want to create a family environment that fosters learning. I want to get up every day and feel passionate about the work that I'm doing. I want to make an impact in the world beyond just pushing papers or scheduling social or doing something that doesn't seem to have meaning. I want to do something that's going to make an impact in your life. I want to take the mistakes that I've had and I want to help you go faster without making those same mistakes. I want to take the mess of who I am and the flaws that I have, and I want to help you gain confidence in knowing that you can do this too. If a mom of 3 who homeschools, who doesn't know how to turn on the camera can figure this out, you can too. And so I just want to be here as an encourager, as a friend, as a guide, as a leader, as a mentor to help you do the same thing. And so your reasons for doing this are critical. It's so important to know that if you don't have your reasons mapped out, that when you get to hard days, and you're going to have them, it's going to be so much harder to get through them. But when you know your reasons, when you're writing them out, when you have that in the forefront of your mind, it makes it so much easier to push through on hard days and to enjoy the good days. And then lastly, we defined your who. Who is he? Who is she? Have you defined that person yet? You know, for me specifically, this took so much time to get to because I wanted to help everyone. I have a heart to serve, and I really wanted to help all types of people. But over time, I've realized that if I want to break through, I need to be known for one thing, which means I need to figure out who my target audience is. I need to figure out how I can uniquely help them, and then I need to give it my all in that space. So I want to encourage you, have you figured out who your who is? You know, even here at Think Media, over and over, we are clearly defining this as a team. When we started this podcast, the Think Marketing Podcast, we had to go back to the drawing board and say, are we reaching the right person? Are we helping them in the right way? Are we delivering the right value to them? What makes us different in the market when we wanted to create this podcast? And I honestly think we're still developing that. We have an idea of who we want to help. And with your feedback, it's helped us more and more realize who you are and how we can help you and the value we can bring to your life. So have you written this out? Do you know your who? Have you decided what market you want to attack? And have you decided that it's time to stop dabbling and it's time to dominate? Because there is so much potential right now on YouTube, but if you're not clear about how you're going to break through the market, it's going to be so hard to actually get discovered. Now, this episode and next week's episode are brought to you by the Think Masterclass. This is our 1-hour free YouTube class that you can take right now. When you're done listening to this podcast, I recommend that you block time on your calendar, that you set aside 1 hour to go deeper on how to do YouTube right. This is a class that gives you the 3 secrets for success on YouTube, and we share case studies of people just like you who are using the actual strategies that we teach inside of our academy. We're teaching them to you for free, and we're sharing with you some case studies of people who have not only gone full-time, who have made 6-figure brand deals, and who now are over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. If that's one of your goals, if you want to get brand deals, if you want to grow your channel to over 100,000, if you want to go full-time on YouTube, then this is the class that you need to take. And I'm excited because we have a brand new update coming of this class. So make sure you watch the current one right now and make sure you're ready for the upcoming class that's coming soon. You'll also want to make sure that you are subscribed so that when we get to next week's episode, you are ready. I'm bringing the fire next week on the episode that's part 2 of this clarity equation. We're going to be defining your goals. This is critical as an entrepreneur, which is who you are. And knowing the goal, knowing the target is so important. So we're going to dive into knowing the goals, how to create what we call the napkin strategy. So many people overcomplicate what it means to create content, and I'm going to simplify that down to a napkin. And then we're going to close by learning the best ways to multiply your success. All of that's happening on next week's episode of the Think Marketing Podcast. So you're going to want to make sure that you are subscribed and ready for when it's released. And when you are done listening to this episode, head over to iTunes and rate and review. I'd love to read what Keith Strong said. He said, phenomenal podcast, super dope content, and can listen while I work. You guys are online world changers. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Keith, for writing that review over on iTunes. And if you've not written your review yet, we would love to read it. Please head over to iTunes. You can rate it by letting us know what you think about the podcast, writing a review, and maybe you'll be featured on a future episode. I want to thank you for your time. I know that your time is super valuable. So thank you so much for spending this time with me, and we will see you in the next episode.